Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Deltana number MB175. This is what's called a mortise bolt. And this mortise bolt is shown in the US3 finish, which is polished brass. It'd be more appropriate, really, I think, to call it 605, because 605 means polished brass, but 605 means also that it's solid brass base material. And that is what this is. Meaning the original US system doesn't differentiate between base materials, where the BHMA system does. If this was made of steel, we would call it 632 rather than US3 or 605. So I like to be more hardware nerdy about the finish. You want to know that it's made of solid brass. Solid brass is a high quality piece of architectural material, and having it inferred in the finish is certainly a nice thing. Nice quality piece of hardware. This is just a mortise bolt, and it's nice that Deltana makes this available, because you can't really get these everywhere in the world anymore. Meaning, not every the people who used to make these don't necessarily make these anymore. And Deltana does it in a really nice fashion as well. A little bit stiff operation. I imagine that will loosen with time. Obviously, you can remove all of that. That's just a rack that's in there. You'll be able to insert the thumb turn into, in whatever sort of position that you like it to be in. That escutcheon is loose there, and you'll just attach it. Where would you use a mortise bolt? And by the way, a strike plate is included. Let's hit the dimensional properties as well. Overall height of the strike, or length, about 1 3/4 inches, with a width at about 15/16. Four screws included. Be mindful, they're brass. So when you pre-drill those holes, be sure to pre-drill them and use a very good fitting screwdriver. Brass is soft, you don't want to strip that out. Where would you use this? Well, cabinet door, bedroom door, basement door, any door that you want to provide a small amount of security onto. The one downside of items like this, naturally, is there's really no provision to get in if someone's locked in. So that would be a downside of this, and while that may not concern you, nor maybe should it, it could be an issue. Everyone's grandma gets stuck in the bathroom at some point. It just is going to happen. I know it's happened to me. 1 3/4 backs, or also a child, actually. A child will get locked in, the lock will malfunction, and you literally can't operate it to get out. In fact, now that I think of it, it was a mortise bolt on a door in my great-grandparents' home, and it may have been, that home was probably built in the 1920s. Luckily, the bathroom door swung out, and my great-grandmother just couldn't figure out how to get the latch open. And I think what it was is studying it later in life, the latch bolt wasn't fully retracted by turning the knob, so it was still stuck. Luckily, my uncles, being carpenters, and the door swinging out, they just popped them pins out and had Granny out in no time. But nonetheless, that would be a downside of this. Bathroom doors don't generally swing out, that's for sure. So you've got your 1 3/4 back set to drill your hole. Drilling and prepping for this material, there is a link below this video to a document called Installation Instructions, where you will be able to see their outline regarding this. Tools required: a drill, 9/32 drill bit, 1/8 of an inch, 9/16 3/4, Phillips screwdriver, pencil, and chalk. I'm not sure what I know what the chalk is for. Position door bolt, 45-inch to 60-inch from bottom of the door on center line of door edge. Mark and drill 9/16 hole, 2.5-inch deep. So what they're saying there, the diameter of that bolt is 0.5 0.55. The OD of the trim on the outside is 0.705. 0.55, so 9/16 is good, which is 0.5625. 0.705 is good out here. Okay. Well, so what they're saying is on the style of the door, 45 to 60 inch from the bottom of the door. Put it anywhere you want. 60 seems awfully high for a mortise door bolt. So does 45 inch. 9/16 hole, 2.5 inch deep. Let's test that and make sure that all makes sense. Sometimes these documents are written by people whose first language isn't English. So it's just nice to do a reality check. And all I mean to say is whoever wrote those installation instructions, sometimes I've encountered them on imported hardware. Their first language wasn't English. So the translation sometimes could use a little additional clarification. 2.5 inch deep? Yeah. 2 9/16 deep. Drill 9/32 hole, 1.25 deep, and 1.75 from edge of door. 9/32 of an inch hole, 9/32. So we're basically dealing with a 1/4 inch, just heavy on a 1/4. And that's going to be for the spindle, obviously. And the OD of the spindle is 0.28. 0.28. So a 9/16 of an inch hole, sure, that would work. Could probably go a little bit bigger because you've got the escutcheon plate certainly going to cover that. 1.25 deep through the face of the door. You're going to want to be quite mindful of the 1.25 deep, because if that's an 1 3/8 thick door, well, that spindle's longer than 1.25 inches. You drill an 1.25 inches deep, that won't pierce the door if it's 1 3/8. But I don't think you're going to fit your hardware all the way down. Okay. Be quite close. You might need to trim that down a little bit, is the bottom line. 1 3/4 from door edge. That's going to be a reference to the back set again. Place the bolt in the hole, meaning slide this unit in, insert the knob shaft in the hole, and align with... You're just going to insert the shaft through the hole. And then you're going to pre-drill your holes for these 2 screws to attach the escutcheon down to the face of the door. With hardware like this, you really want to do a reality check. That 1.25 deep, this is a little bit too long for that. Moving on, rub chalk on the end of the bolt, and then mark the jamb, is what they're saying with the chalk. Old locksmiths, they've used lipstick, of all things, and that works as well. So you can mark the center line of that. That material is going to be really thin, maybe 30 thousandths of an inch, including the plastic that's there. It's 0.045, so that's going to be so thin that you might just surface mount it. Mark that, chisel it or surface mount it, pre-drill the holes and attach. And that will rub chalk on bolt, close door, turn bolt so that it hits door frame, leaving mark, drill 3/4 inch diameter hole, 1/2 inch deep to receive the bolt. That's the hole that you're going to drill in the frame. Position strike over the hole, mortise in place, and secure. Okay, that's it. That's the installation instructions of this item. There is also a link below this video to the document called Cut Sheet, which is really a dimensional drawing. And even their own drawing shows that the length of the spindle is 1 7/16. So if you've got a 1 3/8 thick door, caution, Will Robinson, I think you've got a problem there. You're going to need to trim that down a little bit so that it doesn't get all the way in a 1 3/8 door. 0.13875 is probably going to be like 0.133. It's actually going to be thinner than 1 3/8. So be mindful of that, of what you're doing there before you start drilling to realize, yeah, this thing's too long. Obviously, they must be thinking 1 3/4 thick doors. This is available in other finishes as well. You're going to be able to do it in polished brass, lifetime brass, which would look quite identical to this, except that there's a process done on the brass plating that imparts something on the chemical level of the finish that makes it incredibly durable. Antique brass, US 5, US 10B oil rub bronze, US 15 satin nickel, US 15A antique nickel, US 19 black, US 26 polished chrome, US 26D satin chrome, 9 total finishes. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Deltana products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Deltana, this is their part number MB175, and I bet that 175 is meant to infer 1 3/4. Solid brass mortise bolt, or any other Deltana product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.